All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm a huge fan of Guy Ritchie, so anything anything he makes, I'll watch it. And so this was a this was a really incredible series.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, loved it. Loved it.
Love that. Do you know what? It's been so nice to like hear everyone's love for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, you just never know when you're filming something, I might like it, but you never know how the world's going to take it. So I think all of us have been happy.
Were you equally a fan of Guy Ritchie's work before you joined the project?
I'd actually only ever watched the series The Gentleman out of all of his stuff. Um, and then what did I watch whilst we were filming? Is it Snatch? Is it Snatch? Is that Guy Ritchie?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Good. I watched that and loved it. But I was always one of those people famously who had never watched any gangster stuff. And I started going down like a whole gangster tunnel before I even auditioned for the role. But it was more American gangster stuff, like The Godfather and Scarface and all that, which I bloody loved. So yeah, I've got more of Guy Ritchie stuff to watch. Although I'm quite happy that I didn't watch all of it and I wasn't such a fan because I think that would have maybe I would have it would have affected how I turned up to work, I think.
When you knew that you were eventually going to play this character and you read the screenplay, is there anything that struck you the most about Seraphina?
I just loved how powerful of a woman she was and how like she just doesn't take shit. And that was really exciting for me. Um, yeah, it was so exciting. Also, the dynamic within the family, I feel like because she's sort of like, the outcast in a way, that's a really fun position to play and getting to play against Helen and like going head to head with Helen was so much fun. She's amazing as Maeve.
I mean, every actor in this show is incredible. I think Tom Hardy delivers one of the best performances of his career. I just loved him.
He's so good, isn't he?
I feel like I
Yeah.
never saw. I feel like I never saw a side of him like this in this show in particular. He was just so captivating.
Yeah, he's got that like likable energy to him, like the lead in The Sopranos. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
like him, but yeah, he's doing evil, crazy stuff, but you're rooting for him, and I think that's such a hard thing to pull off, but Tom does it for sure.
So the show's first two episodes are directed by Guy Ritchie, who I did speak to some of the actors on The Gentleman last year, and they told me how he has a very specific way of working with his actors.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, was that also his approach for this series, and how was that experience like for you as an actor working with him?
You're sort of, yeah, you have no idea what's going to happen when you turn up to work. Obviously, you've got the script and I know what scene I'm filming today. However, I remember one day, in fact, it's a cafe scene, the whole Quiet Fit scene. Um, that all got changed on the day. Like they just came to me and said, "Guy wants to see you and Daniel in his trailer." I got to the trailer, the most amazing trailer, by the way. Like inside the trailer, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" There was a wood fire going. It was all very like it felt very um Guy is the only way that I could describe it. A bit of bread, like fresh bread cut. Like it was, you didn't feel like he was in a trailer. Anyway, and he was like, "Look, let's rewrite the scene. There's something's not working with it. Let's rewrite it." So we sort of all sat down and rewrote this scene. And then he was like, "All right, well, we'll start with a wide. By the time we get to close-ups, you'll know the lines." Then literally you walk from the trailer to the cafe and I'm like, fuck, okay, do I know the lines? Do I know the lines? It was sort of that. But what that does is keeps everything alive and electric and you don't have time to get into your head. You're just present. And I think that's when the best moments happen.
Does it feel a little daunting to sort of change the scene on the day, or that make the job of playing this character a little easier or more exciting, I guess?
I think more exciting because it was so early on as well in the whole Seraphina. Like I got the role and then 2 weeks later I'm on set filming. So it was a very quick turnaround. Um, I think that it one enabled me decide myself how I want Seraphina to turn up and be. But also, it was just fun. I've worked in the past with Ricky Gervais and we do a lot of improv. So I didn't feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. I just sort of felt like, okay, this is going to be a fun shoot. Yeah.
This is a show that I think progressively gets a lot darker as the episodes progress. I mean, some of it is very funny, especially the dynamic between Maeve and Conrad. But
Yeah.
it does get, I think, by the sixth episode, it gets into a really dark shift. And I'm wondering, like, how did you approach the character's arc? As the show gets darker and arrives in more violent territories, especially during the middle of the season, where there was a war brewing between the Harrigans and the Stevensons.
Yeah. Luckily I worked with my acting coach on every episode, who is amazing. Her name's Miranda Harcourt. She's wonderful. And she was really able to help me to do research and get myself to a place where um I was really in it. I mean, especially the chainsaw scene. That was something else. The chainsaw scene and like having to negotiate and then knowing that you're going to die. Um, there's this amazing video of this monk who sets himself alight. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Oh, it's the most bizarrest thing watching it because it's real. And you can sort of see that all these monks are around him and he's doing it and he accepts death and it's very zen. And I remember coming into the day being like, okay, that's how Seraphina's going to be when she realizes she's going to die. However, the director was like, go for it, scream, cry, be it completely there. I think the chainsaw itself and the sound of it was real. On the day, it was a real chainsaw. They just like blunted it. So every element helped. The room in which we were filming was freezing. Like all of the elements really, really helped in order for me to get to that place. But yeah, it was really important to know exactly what Seraphina, where her mind was and what was going on. I don't think she accepted death right up until after, the end bit of it. But yeah, very traumatic. And I mean, I personally love that this show, especially the Kevin scenes, the Kev and the backstory of that. I remember reading the script and being like, wow, this is so powerful. And it's something that I've not seen in a gangster show, is a man experiencing that and then seeing how that's affected him in life. And then sort of going back and getting some justice for it. I thought that was incredibly well done. And Paddy's performance was, ugh, amazing.
Especially that final scene with Pierce in prison. Amazing.
Oh, I know, right?
In terms of, the chainsaw scene is a very, very violent sequence. There's a lot of blood in it. Was that all practical or done through visual effects? I don't know.
I know. I wish it was visual effects. I remember saying to them, can't we just do visual effects? Because I am that person where I get so like, ugh, with stuff. I don't like wet mud. I'm really trying to work on it, but with certain things like that, it make me feel awful. So when I knew that I had this coming up, I was like, oh Lord God, help me. And then we done it. Then they were like, okay, let's reset. So I had to go and like get all the blood off me to then go do it again. And then I remember being like, okay, wait, great, we've done it. Woohoo. And 2 weeks later, I came into the makeup truck and my makeup artist said, have you heard the bad news? I said, what's the bad news? They said, we're doing the chainsaw scene again. And I was like, what? Why? And they said, there wasn't enough blood. We need more blood. There wasn't enough blood. I was covered in it. So yeah, that was all real.
In
Yeah.
terms of the divided relationship that Seraphina has with Connor and Maeve, how did you collaborate with Pierce and Helen and sort of developing that aspect of the show?
It was all very quick. It had to be done very, very quick. Like I got the call about the job, and literally 2 weeks later, I'm on set walking in the field with Pierce. Um, Luckily, me and Pierce got on really well, and we bonded over like cars. I mean, I love cars. I'm such a little boy racer at heart. So we bonded over. I was asking him, "What's your favorite car?" and asking him all about his James Bond experience. Of driving cars and stuff. And then whenever we'd be in one of his fancy cars, I'd be like, "Oh, Pierce, this is a bit of me." So me and him really got on anyway. And then Helen was so gracious. She's such a phenomenal woman. Especially knowing that she had to be mean to me. Day one, as soon as I met her, she gave me the biggest hug and was like, I don't mean any of it. Okay, I know I'm gonna have to be mean to you. And that I think was so good because it enabled me to get to a place where I could forget that you're Helen. I could forget that he's Pierce, and I could just see you as any other actor and meet you and collaborate with you and not be scared to go for it. I think sometimes we get into our heads when it's like a star, but actually taking that out of it, it was really nice, just human to human, to just be able to play and trust the other person to turn up and do what we needed to do.
It really does feel like you guys are playing, on set because, acting is after all playing. Did that feel like it when you guys were doing it on set as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that dinner party scene. We filmed that over 3 days. In fact, one of the days was Valentine's Day, and I remember all of us being like, "This is better than going on any dates," because it was so much fun. Like it was fun to sit. I mean, me and Anson was sort of obviously sat next to each other, and we just remember looking at each other, being like, watching those two go head to head, and like the smash of the bottle and the picking up the knife and all of that. It felt like I was watching theatre. Um, that felt like a playground. And then in between, takes as actors, we always get bored, so we just play games. So yeah, it was really fun.
And Serafina has a very close relationship with Brendan throughout the series, and I really love the dynamic that you have with Daniel in the show as well. How was it like collaborating with him in developing that?
Love him.
Yeah.
I love Daniel Betts with all my heart. He is the most nicest person you'll ever meet. And he's so talented. He brings his A game. And yeah, what a joy. Like we got on instantly. And we still get on now. Like we'll still have a call and a little catch up. I was so sad to see Brendan die because knowing that, if we do get to do a series two, who am I gonna have that banter with on and off screen? So yeah, great guy.
And there is an aftermath for Serafina in the after Brendan's death. We see her at her most vulnerable, and then she picks herself back up as well. Can you talk about working on that specific portion of her arc?
Yeah, it was, it was really, I remember reading the script for when she comes back and arrives back home. And actually, I really enjoyed that because I was like, you've only ever seen Seraphina put together. You've seen her bossing stuff and doing stuff. And it was so nice to be able to strip her of everything and have her be the most vulnerable that she will ever be, especially in front of Maeve. I think that's the one person that she'd never want to be vulnerable in front of ever. Um, and to have that and then have Maeve, even if she's lying, accept her into the family for an episode, was really, really nice for me to be able to do that as an actor because I get the funny, I get to do a bit of funny with Brendan, I get to do badass boss bitch, whatever, and then I get to, sorry, and then I get to break down and be like a 7-year-old child. That's the first time that she ever really breaks down is when you're having a really bad day and then someone says, "Are you okay?" and you just start bawling. One of those moments. And then when I'm reading the next episode and I'm like, "Oh, Seraphina's like, okay, she's cried, she's had a shower, she's got a lovely brown dress on, and she is on it." Like she comes back full force. And it was interesting because I was like, there's something shifted in her. She's not the same person that she was before the chainsaw scene. She is a completely different, there's something that's dead in her, which I think is of dangerous Seraphina, which I'm so excited. Like, if we get the chance to do season two, I cannot wait to explore that.
I feel like we can really notice that shift in the dinner scene where she starts to talk to Alice. I thought that was that was really great. Can you talk about sort of that specific moment?
Yeah, I felt that too. I mean, even like reading the script and then delivering it, I was like, oh, Seraphina's not she's not even trying to be nice anymore. She's not like that empathy that she might have had before for other people is gone. There's something in her that is just fight. It's like she's ready to fight. And I think that nearly dying, experiencing that, coming back into the family, now she's like, no, I'm in the running here. um and she's gonna, yeah, I mean, well, you see what happens last episode with her and Kat, so but I loved playing that. And it was really nice again to be able to, it's rare that you get a part where you get to explore and do so much as an actor. And Jez and Ronan really gave me that opportunity with this.
Do you have a particular scene that you worked on the show that you would say is your favorite?
Ooh, I mean, any scene with Daniel Betts was always a joy. Always. Like he's so wonderful. We had such a fun time in Antwerp. It was really fun. Like I ate so much chocolate. Oh my goodness, I ate so much chocolate that whole week that we were filming. So I think all of the stuff with Daniel Betts was a joy. Um, I think the scene for me that I was proud of my most was when I come back to the house in episode 8 and I break down in front of them. And I remember walking up to Helen, obviously having that scene with her, and then outside she goes to me, "How do you do that?" I said, "What?" She's like, "How do you break down like that?" And I was like, coming from Dame Helen Mirren, shut the fuck up. I remember going home being like, okay, I'm good, I'm good. Like it's so funny, but I was really proud of myself that day to get a compliment like that from Dame Helen Mirren herself. What a G.
And is there something you would say for you as an actor was the most rewarding aspect for you in working on a show like MobLand?
I think um honestly the cast are incredible, and being able to like act with these people is wonderful. Like, I've seen them in stuff, and to be able to then suddenly be on set and working with them, um and understanding in real life, oh yeah, that's why you're amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like there was definitely moments like that. I think the whole show altogether, to be honest, I'm very proud of it. um it's been so well received, and I remember reading it and loving it. I remember first auditioning for the role. In fact, not this role. I auditioned for Harry's wife, Jan. And I remember knowing that I wasn't right for the part and emailing my team and saying, I know I'm not right for this part. Here's my self-tape. However, I love the script. Please, is there like what other options are there? And then getting the offer for Seraphina. So I think the whole thing has just been a gift from start to finish, really.
Did it feel a little surreal to act opposite some of these great actors of film and TV?
Yes and no. Like, yes, in a sense of it was a 2-week turnaround. I just moved back from LA and suddenly now I'm on set with Helen and Pierce and Tom, and I'm like, okay. But no, because they are so down to earth and they don't come on set with an ego. They don't come on set with I'm this person or I'm that. There's none of that. You can tell that they love their craft so much that they are there to do what I'm there to do, which is to act and play and have a great time and bring these characters to life the best that we possibly can. So I feel like yeah and no.
Awesome. Well, it was really great talking today, Mandeep, about your work on Mobland. Congratulations. The show is incredible, and your performance as Seraphina is absolutely incredible as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I hope you have a beautiful day. Good morning.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You too. I hope you have a great rest of your day as well, and all the best on
Thanks.
your future projects.
All right, nice one. Take care. Have a nice day. Take care.
Thank you.